Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to squat and how to do the squat pattern. Common mistakes, the setup and everything what you need to know. So the benefit of squatting or of being able to squat properly is it's a great exercise to strengthen your legs, basically from the hips all the way down to the foot. It's basic movement pattern which is very important for lifting. It can help us like a baseline for many other exercises. So the proper squatting will develop everything basically from the glutes, from the hips, through the thighs, hamstrings, lower leg, and even the stable foot position. So generally for squatting there is no contraindication unless it causes pain or you have some kind of very specific condition. If that's the case, just consult it with your physician or with your physiotherapist. For being able to squat, you don't need actually any equipment. You can just do it with your own body standing in the space. Saying that, however, having some kind of box, especially when you are new to squatting, makes life way easier. Because the box help us to address the most common issue when people are trying to do the squat for the first time. Most people try to shift their feet or the knees forward. I will just show it from the side. Knees forward rather than sitting back. So having some kind of box will actually help us to imagine, okay, we need to sit backwards rather than sit forward like this. So for purpose of this video I'm going to just show you how to box squat, because I think that's possibly the easiest way how to explain somebody who is not familiar with squatting or who is maybe afraid of squatting or who might not have the full range of motion how to squat. Because with height of the depth you can limit the range of motion. So sometimes, let's say when we have somebody who is maybe after surgery, maybe just has pain in lower when he goes a little bit deeper into the squat, you can start just staying like very shallow, so the knee is going to be bending very minimally. And then gradually you can progress them down. So for the setup, you're just going to start standing nice and upright. Again, head is neutral, ribs are down, your feet are roughly hip width apart, toes pointed slightly outwards or straight forward. You're just going to create a little bit of torque kind of in the knee. So imagine like you have your feet on the plate and you're trying to turn them out, but the foot is not moving. So what is moving is basically the knee and the whole leg. There is a little bit of torque. What it's going to do, it's going to create a little bit of arch under your foot. You're going to feel a little bit of tension around your hips. Your next step is going to be just making sure that you stay nice and upright. You're going to lean a little bit forward while you are shifting your hips backward, while you are sitting back, and then again just lean and stand forward. So the common mistakes with the squat or with squatting pattern, I will start possibly from the feet, just gripping with the toes. So people almost like have to grip with their toes, or when they are squatting, they are lifting, they are going on the outside of the feet, or they are lifting this part around your big toe. Next one is letting the ankles collapse inwards, which is actually way more common, and that actually moves us into the next segment, which is the knees. So often the knees should be tracking roughly around over the middle toe, roughly again like a few degrees up and down. Everybody's a little bit different, but it definitely shouldn't go too much inside or too much outside. You can go outside if you are still able to maintain the inside of your foot in the contact with the ground. So the next common mistake is related to just starting the squat. A lot of people initiate the movement basically with the knees rather than with the hips backwards, and that just limits their depth. Then they have to raise on their heels, which kind of brings another mistake, just lifting the heels over here. The next common mistake is basically just squatting towards one side. Usually people are not even aware that they are doing this mistake, so usually it's best to do those squats in front of mirror so they can control themselves, or if there is no mirror around, just record yourself so you are sure that it's reasonably symmetrical. Next common mistake is basically to lose the lumbar position, or just not to go straight down but to round it over here, and the other type with the flexion or with rounding is just arching or hyperextension. So they lock it up over here, the ribs basically flare upward and they squat like this. And the very last part is related to the neck. So the neck should stay reasonably neutral when you're squatting down. Oftentimes what we can see is the neck position is changing as they are going up and down. So making squat a little bit more challenging is very simple. You can just hold some weight. You can hold it basically just by your side or in the goblet position over here. It can be back squat, it can be front squat, it can be overhead squat. You have a lot of different choices how to load it. So by adding extra weight, you're going to make that exercise way more difficult. On the other hand, if that exercise is basically too difficult to start with, let's say your patient or your client is not able to tolerate the bodyweight squats, you have few options. You can shorten the range of motion. So let's say you start with that proper setup and just initiation of the movement, and then just gradually build them down. Or if you want to practice the full range of motion, you can use, let's say, something like these straps. Just use it with your hands. The same setup. You're just going to squat down and stand up. The straps are actually a great tool to provide a little bit of counterbalance, because as you feel you are about to fall backwards, you can still use your hands to pull yourself a little bit forward. So just to balance it. Ideally though, we would be able to squat just without any help, but again, like, this could be a really nice stepping stone to build up towards that perfect squat, if anything like that actually exists. So with the programming, if the person is able to do, let's say, like 3 sets of 15 repetition, they might be ready for the next progression, basically to add weight or go extra deeper. I would say the depth of the squat, how deep you go, it's not very limited with the weight. I would generally advise to go on as far as you can maintain the back reasonably straight. So you are avoiding going too far down when you have to round your back, especially under the external load. So just the bodyweight squats without any weight, you can go deep, you can mobilize there, you can spend a little bit of time. It's possibly going to be quite beneficial. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, just leave it in comments below.